governor.
Sure about that? Governor, I was going to say to Mickey.
Hey, Mickey. How are you?
Well, we do it again sometime.
Good evening, Bruchim Abayim. Welcome to all of you who came from overseas and all of you who came over here from Eretz Yisrael. Our special guest, Governor Mike Huckabee. I don't know how he does it. His flight alone was 17 hours. And since he's here, he's a battery. He's just going and going. And he's motivated by the Jewish values and fighting against those who want to impose BDS on us. My name is Dovi Honig. I am the founder and the CEO of the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce. I'm hosting today's event together with our Vice President, Dr. Joe Frager, who gets, we should give him a round of applause. And we have Dr. Paul Brody, our Vice President of Public Policy of Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce as well. And we have Achron Chaviv, Mrs. Adelia Jacobs, a Vice President of the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce Public Policy Committee, who is here working a week and a half before we came, making sure everything's running smooth and not sleeping, not eating. And Mrs. Adelia Jacobs, thank you. We have with us today Chavri Knesset, Miki Zohar, who hosted our event yesterday in the Knesset. I want to thank him as well. The Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce unites businesses all over the world, using our strength to be able to empower our people through economic development by synergizing our businesses, our jobs, the whole on a global level. It creates a tremendous amount of opportunity to be able to help people, whether it's startups, finding jobs, existing businesses, and venture capitalists all the way to the top. And we're very proud of it, that our accomplishments were acknowledged by the White House, by congressmen, senators. We hosted anti-BDS, we co-chaired anti-BDS missions, as well as being acknowledged on Jewish Heritage Month in Washington, D.C. And the reason I'm pointing all this out is because all of us are here today to be able to strengthen this body and be part of it from Israel, from America. And we have Danny Dayan with us. Thank you for coming. And many more. And I'm not going to mention names because I don't know if people want to be mentioned, but we have guests who came from Cleveland and other places, and it really means a lot to us that they're here today. Thank you. At this point, I'm going to introduce Michael Eisenberg, who doesn't really need a big introduction. He's well known for his success on being on boards of Wix and many other big companies and startups, a venture capitalist, and he has to leave soon. I'm going to apologize for him because he has to speak in the university at 7:45, so he's going to get up. And I'm going to cut my speech short, and we'll hear some words from him. Thank you all again.
Thank you. My apologies. Governor Huckabee, thank you for coming. Sgan Sar Bitachon, my friend Raveli Ben Dahan, thank you. I walked in tonight, I was planning to start with a story, but I feel like I should start with the Dvar Torah. Looking at the audience, so you'll excuse me, I'll try to do it both somewhat in Hebrew and in English. I just finished publishing a book, a sefer, on the Talmud Yerushalmi, on the Jerusalem Talmud, and there's a fascinating statement there about the land of Israel and the blessings, the brachot, we make. And the Jerusalem Talmud, the Yerushalmi, brings the pasuk Tovasi or Tovati Bal Alecha as the source that your blessings will land on you or disappear with you, as a source for why we make blessing on the food. And one of the explanations is fascinating. It says that Biladecha, without the people, there are no blessings. God does not bring his blessings on the land and on the people. And that the people need to initiate proper behavior and proper relationship both to the land and its values in order to receive the godly blessings on the land. And I think nothing could be more appropriate to open this event and this evening than to thank the people who have come here and thank the people who work here and work together in order to bring the blessings on the land. So thank you for coming and thank you for doing this. I want to start with a very personal story. My grandfather of blessed memory was a young businessman in the 1940s, early 1940s, living in New York. He was born in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. And one day arrived in his bank account the, at the time, princely sum of $70,000 unannounced. It was sent from a bank account that could not be identified at the time, and he didn't know what to do with it. Being the yeke that he was, he put it away in a separate account. At the time, it was called a passbook savings account, and put it aside. Sometime after World War II, a European Jewish gentleman knocked on his office door and said, "Hello, my name is Reichman, and I sent you $70,000 some 5 or 6 years ago." And my grandfather then told him that the money was set aside in a separate account, and with interest, here's the account number. And here is the access to the account, and I'll take you down to see the teller. I had heard this story growing up. I did not know it was about my grandfather, but it had a tremendous impact on me. Later, when the Reichmans published their book on the family history, it appeared there. And then I realized who it was about. And the reason it had such an impact is for two reasons, and I think it relates to why we're here today. One is that business and relationships are based on trust. Trust is engendered by social surroundings, and as the Great Gatsby said in The Great Gatsby, gesticulations or actions done consistently over time. And the ability of somebody from Europe to send $70,000 to someone he knew was a born American, which was his criteria for who to send his money to, reflected a certain trust that is created by landsmen across the globe. It's the hallmark of business. All business should be carried out in environments of light regulation, heavy enforcement, and incredible trust. Most countries work the opposite way. But we have a unique opportunity here across oceans and across ways to leverage trust created by kinship and values, kinship from social and religious backgrounds, and the kinship that these two great countries have brought together to bring a lot of blessing and a lot of business to this country, and I think to the United States as well. Many Israeli innovations are prevalent across the United States, things that reduce the price of pharmaceuticals. I just saw today a company in Tel Aviv that is trialing a product that is able to detect sexual abuse using a mobile phone, and another one that's able to do urinalysis for $5 off a cell phone in your home. And they both have contracts in the United States. The innovation coming out of here and the connections we can build based on the trust that exists innately among the Jewish people and other people of shared values with the Judeo-Christian ethic, I think is potentially incredibly powerful as we move our way through this next millennium and this next decade. There's been a lot of economic upheaval in various parts of the world. Technology is driving a lot of that. If you believe The Economist, there'll be 1.5 billion jobs decimated. By the way, I don't believe The Economist, but there'll be 1.5 billion jobs decimated by technology in the next 20 years. We will rebuild those jobs, and the way we'll rebuild them is through trust and innovation. And I want to thank you again for coming here. I promised I would be short, and I have to go to this lecture at Hebrew University. Thank you for coming, and let's build a relationship of trust that's based on shared values and shared commitment to innovation, economic development, and creating jobs for lots of people in both great countries. So thank you very much. Have a good evening.
I'll give you the same.
Thank you very much. And introduce you to the governor.
Yes.
You got a picture? No, sure. I want to get a picture of him. Take a break. Okay, we can have the music back on. I want to also thank Arut Sheva and those who are broadcasting us. We're being broadcasted live in America and Israel. This is a live event. And for all our partners, we think big, and everything is bringing together people, uniting, and being global. We'll have a short break now to start serving the food, and then we'll continue the program. Thank you.
Here 2 years ago. You met again, yeah. I'm going to stand behind everybody here. Oh, okay. Thank you for all the help. I know you were tremendously helpful.
I saw that. That's pretty neat. Yeah. The Trump hats.
Can we stand all together? Kish already has to leave. Member of Knesset, who helped us in Mala Adumim yesterday tremendously and has put a bill forward to annex Mala Adumim very quickly. That's Yoav Kish, member of Knesset. He has to leave, and that's why I want to get the program moving. I'm Joe Frager, responsible for this trip in many respects, along with, of course, the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce and my partners, Dr. Paul Brody, Dovi Honig, and Adelia Jacobs. My longtime partners, Matidana Cohen, Etja Cohen, Bata Cohen, and of course, Daniel Luria. And my longest partner of all, my wife, Karen. Yeah. Thank you. In any case, thank you. I'm not going to speak long now. I'll speak a little bit longer later. Danny Dayan, we've been trying to get to dinner for a long time together, and finally we're getting together here in King David. We were supposed to get together in New York, but this is a lot better over here, I think. Listen, we really, Zev Elkin, who is Minister of Jerusalem, this is the 50th year, I don't have to tell you. I think this may be the first major dinner for the 50th anniversary of the reunification of Jerusalem, of Yerushalayim. I think this may be the first dinner, I may be wrong, but we're pretty much at the beginning of the secular year, and I think this may very well be the first celebration of one of the greatest events in our history for 2,000 years. So, Zev Elkin is the Minister of Jerusalem, of Yerushalayim, and Minister of Environmental Protection. How the two to come together, I'll let him figure that out. He's one of the smartest members in Knesset. He's unbelievable, I think, and he's a member of the cabinet, inner circle of the Prime Minister of Israel, who depends upon him tremendously. I now introduce to you the really great Zev Elkin, Minister Elkin, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for so many people that came to this place together this evening. First of all, thank you, dear Governor Huckabee, and our distinguished guests here for your support of our country. Tonight, I would like to speak to you as a Minister of Jerusalem, one of my capacities, and of course it is my honor to serve in this position, especially this year, during the celebration of 50 years of unification of Jerusalem. But in last month, unfortunately, we can see in international community, in some cases, it began with UNESCO decision to deny the Jewish roots and the connection of Jewish history and heritage to our city, Jerusalem, and to Temple of Mount. It followed but United Nations resolution, only recent, with decision that all of the places outside of 67 license means, and including the Kotel, the Mount of Temple, including the old city of Jerusalem, is occupied places. It means these Palestinian places, not Jewish places. It continued, unfortunately, dear Governor, with the recent speech of Secretary of State John Kerry, that the message of this speech again was the places, every place outside of 67 line. It means including the old city, including the Kotel, including the Temple of Mount, all of the sacred places for Jewish people, they are Palestinian places. And in this time, when we can see, unfortunately, even from leaders of our allies, of United States of America, the states like this, by the way, it was very, very symbolical. It was exactly in Hanukkah, exactly in the time when the President of the United States, it was important for him to celebrate Hanukkah in the White House. In this time, the Secretary of the State of this President told us that the Temple of Mount is not Jewish place. Let to think about this. What is the meaning of Hanukkah? What we celebrated in Hanukkah? I think somebody need to say to the President, to recent President of the United States, and to his Secretary of the State, when they told, and they want to greet the Jewish people for Hanukkah, what is the meaning for this? Because the meaning of Chag of Hanukkah was, of course, our success to free the Temple of Mount for Jewish people. Then they need to decide what they want. If they want to celebrate the Hanukkah, they need to understand that the roots of these people, the roots of our people, is the Temple of Mount, is Jerusalem. And in this time, it's much more important for us, the position of people like you, dear Governor, and like our guests here from Israel and overseas, for our support in understanding of the truth. Jerusalem is the eternal and undivided capital of the state of Israel and the Jewish people. We wanted 2,000 years to return to Zion, and here we shall remain. And I wish to thank you again for your position, and to thank, of course, the incoming administration of President-elect Trump for their decision to bring the embassy of United States to Jerusalem. I think the meaning, symbolical meaning of this decision, exactly in the time when we can see more and more calls like in UNESCO that there is any connection of Jewish people to Jerusalem, the decision to bring the American embassy here to Jerusalem, it's very, very important to send a very powerful message to international community that the United States and the coming administration recognize Jerusalem as eternal and undivided capital to the Jewish people. And of course, there is not better time than now, when we celebrate 50 years of uniting of Jerusalem, to do it. Thank you for coming, and thank you for all of your activity to support our state, to support our city, our capital, Jerusalem. Thank you.
Picture.
The mic's in the way. One second.
to give you many more years. I'm a Kohen. That's a blessing from a Kohen. From the priest.
Maybe. I want everyone to know. I think it went off again. I think it's off again. I think it's off. It's on. She's not working right. Not working properly. All right. I think we're back in action here. I just want everyone to know we have a very full program. I'll scream a little louder, I guess. Can you hear me, Nadja? Can you hear me in the back there? So. Okay. In any case, now you can hear me? Okay. So we have a very full program. I know everyone wants to hear the governor speak, but it's going to happen a little later. We also have a very interesting mixture. We have God Elbaz later as well. So don't leave. And you know, we really appreciate everyone coming. I want to thank all my partners on this trip. I mentioned the OJC, of course, Chamber of Commerce, but you know, we have a lot of good people: Ken Abramowitz, Ellen Friedman, and well, I can mention Uri Kaufman, who's been translating for us tremendously. And I would like to mention each and every one who joined us on this trip. We have about 30 people, and perhaps as the night progresses, you'll hear everyone's name. We also have a lot of dignitaries, so I hope we can get to mention everyone and all the rabbis and distinguished rabbis that are here. And this is really a very eclectic group in honor, of course, Governor Mike Huckabee. So we are really privileged to have such a gem in our midst. And I have, thank God, Baruch Hashem, the zchut to, it's now 8 years that we know each other. I wish I knew him before the primaries of 2008. I think I could have helped him out. I don't know if everyone saw the Trump-Pence cake here, but it's in the form of Yerushalayim, and mentions that the embassy has already been moved. So take a look at this cake. It's thanks to, where's Stefanski here? Yisrael Stefanski. Everyone must know you, Yisrael. In any case, we have Oded Ravivi, who is the mayor of Efrat, who's going to speak now, and he's also the chief envoy for the Yesha Council. If I'm not mistaken, the last chief envoy of the Yesha Council became the Consul General of New York. His name is Dene Dayan. So I think this is a stepping stone to greatness, as we're seeing so much already. And I think the governor has seen a lot of people rise in his midst who've attended these events. So let's keep it going. Oded Ravivi.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Governor Huckabee, just to make one point clear, I request that this cake is not cut tonight so it won't symbolize the division of Jerusalem, okay? So you have to keep the cake in one piece. But getting more to the point, I've had the honor in the last 24 hours to follow Governor Huckabee in the Knesset, in private meetings, followed his press releases, and there was one common denominator in all those events. He always was the last speaker. He always had very short sentences, very precise, very to the point, and everybody was left in the room shocked and saying, how come he can say it and we can't say it? And I'll give you just a few quotes. He said, for example, they're not going to hate you any less because you give them what they want. He said in response to Secretary Kerry, Israel is a democratic state and a Jewish state. He also said, go big and go bold. And if I try and put together his theme of this visit, and I try to understand where does it come, so I understand it comes from a person that in his head is a great believer. I understand that in his heart he is a very warm and loving and caring person. I understand that when he speaks what he thinks and what he feels and what he believes in, and what he says is his truth. And if I want to understand why is that different from other leaders that we have come across, allow me to take a guess, because we local leaders, we owe a duty of care to our constituencies. We owe a duty of care to our people, and the contact with our people is so close that we can't say one thing and when we meet them in the supermarket say something else. And if I have any hope in the new administration, it's coming from people who have come from the ground level, who were able to listen to what the people want, and I have no doubt that will be able to project and deliver the goods that the people have asked them to do so. So thank you very much for this trip. Thank you for what you have done throughout the years for the State of Israel. And as you're so young and so energetic like we saw in this trip, I'm sure that we'll enjoy it for many more years. So thank you very much.
We came for the governor. If the pictures happen, then
You know what we should do? We should get all the pictures we're going to do, all together, and take them all at one time. It would make more sense.
that would make more sense. But
This is eating.
you know,
You know what they did with
we want to give you some exercise during
You
your
know what they
meal.
did with Sangomar? They photoshopped. I know. Oh, you got it. Oh, you got it. You got it? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other pictures?
I'm at your service.
You got it? Okay, so, I don't know.
Okay, before any more music,
Wait, 1 second.
I want to have.
Take a picture with Mickey, with people now. It's hard for them to get up. You know what, I have an idea.
It's going to be fine.
Sit down, we'll stand up.
Just a couple other thank yous. Aryeh King, I see right here, is rebuilding Yerushalayim every second of every day. Put this dinner together, helped Adalia Jacobs put this dinner together. I mean, and puts Yerushalayim together. I've never seen such passion for Yerushalayim as Aryeh King. So he's a great role model, a great example. Mark Zell, who put Trump into power, 250,000 votes from Israel. 250,000 votes, or nearly that much. I don't know the exact number, but I know that's the possibility. And Mark Zell's here, and he was here, I think, with Pete Hegseth in the summertime when we brought Pete. It was also already, because he was here in Yerushalayim, his star has risen tremendously. So the answer is you got to attend these dinners if you're going to rise in politics. In any case, Yoni Shepun, okay, I saw him here. He also helped tremendously on this dinner. And I just want to make sure I say Mickey Zohar, who put so much time and effort into this incredible 4 days of Governor Huckabee mission 2017. Mickey Zohar, who, you know, when we think of Mickey in New York, it's Mickey Mantle. So I'm glad to hear that there's a Jewish version of Mickey Mantle. And he's hitting home runs for the Jewish people every step of the way. And a lot more home runs than Mickey Mantle ever did in his lifetime. Okay, that's for the old folk here. I think that, you know, the governor and I are the same age. So I know he knows who Mickey Mantle is. I'm not sure everybody else in this audience does. But In any case, without further ado, I'm going to call upon the Consul General of the City of New York, great city of New York. I'm going to call upon Danny Dayan, who also attended many of these functions along the way. This is our 5th time that I've come with the governor. He's come many more times than that, but the 5th time I've done it with Paul and Adelia. And Danny Dayan was here, as I said, as the chief of the Yesha Council at the time. And look, thank God you're in New York now. I mean, you know, for my sake, not for Israel's sake. Well, it's for Israel's sake, but not for living in Israel is what I was trying to get to. In any case, Danny Dayan, the Consul General of New York. Deputy Minister of Defense.
It's great to see you again. It's really a pleasure. Thank you so much. First of all, to make clear, I am, I will be the Consul General of Israel in New York, not the Consul General of New York. Only a temporary resident of New York, of the Gola, for the sake of, to advance Israel's causes. You know, my friends, I am used during the last 5 months to speak about Israel to Americans. And now, for a moment, I want to go back to my previous, I want to go back to speak about Americans to Israelis. The relationship between the US and Israel was rocky sometimes, was bumpy, but always a strong alliance. But now, I think we're sitting here with Governor Huckabee on my side. I can say that there are Americans with which there is no daylight between the things we believe in, the government of Israel believes in, and what they believe in. And one of the staunchest allies Israel has in the United States of America, one of the persons that represents the Zionist cause better than any others, is our great friend, Governor Mike Huckabee. I had the privilege already in my previous capacities to see Governor Huckabee both listening attentively in the Ariel University, and you won't believe that, dancing Hasidic dances in Psagot. Do you remember that, Governor? After giving us a treat with his banjo. So I know that when Governor Huckabee and his political allies are in Washington, are in the White House, Israel will have glorious days. I want to finally say one of my latest experiences in New York. 36 hours or less after the infamous Security Council resolution adopted by 14 states with the abstention of the Obama administration, I had the privilege to light the first candle in the largest menorah, in the largest Hanukkah in the world, over Fifth Avenue in New York. And from the height of, you Americans always make trouble by counting by feet. I think it's 10 feet high over the Fifth Avenue. I couldn't think of any other thing but the fact that all the Maccabean battles, all the routes that the Maccabean advanced through in order to liberate Jerusalem, in order to consecrate again the desecrated temple, all those battles, all those routes were, according to the Security Council and according by the abstention of the US, in Palestinian occupied territory. Well, I believe that those days are over. The days in which the US administration will say proudly the very things that we heard from Governor Huckabee countless times, that Jerusalem, that Judea and Samaria are an integral part of the homeland of the Jewish people. Those days are much nearer than we expected. And when the world will see again, when Iran will see, when the Palestinians will see, when Europe will see that there is no daylight between Israel and its staunchest ally, the United States of America, they will get the message. They will get the message that a new era has arrived for the alliance between Israel and the United States. A new era has arrived for the fulfillment of the just causes of Israel, for the fulfillment of the Zionist dream. Thanks to allies like Governor Huckabee, Im nirtze zu lo tiyeh agada. If we will want, that will not be a legend. Thank you so much, Governor.
Nikki.
No, you gotta get the order. I'll take it. I don't mind. The mic's blocking. The mic's blocking.
Governor, you are in New York.
I'll try to look, yeah. I saw Danny Danone a few weeks ago. Met him over at his apartment. Are you? Okay. Okay. Thanks. Mike, are you connected? What's that? Are you connected? Yes. Share the live broadcast. So you could retweet it. I shared it to you. Yeah. Nobody sent it to me. What? Nobody had sent it to me. Shared it this way.
I need the target.
It's the right user. Yeah.
You can do Mickey Zohar if you want. We had a good meeting about that. Okay. I hope, don't worry, your meal is going to be served soon. I see Ellie Piepertz. Ellie was very helpful. I don't know if you saw it, and everyone from Mala Adumim. I see a former Minister Hershkovitz here as well. I remember in 2014 you were Minister of Science. You joined us in the Knesset with the governor. I don't forget things. And Ellie put together a great event in Mala Adumim yesterday with friends. And we laid a cornerstone to the what I like to call Trump City. That's number one. So I hope you have 1 million Trump cities by the time 8 years rolls around. In any case, I hope you understood what I was saying. Maybe it has to be Mitargem. Uri Kaufman, I need your help. Not for me. I want to introduce Deputy Minister of Defense, Ben Dahan, who met with the governor earlier today about very important matters, of course, that relate to, obviously, the defense of the State of Israel and the future, the next presidency, future of Iran, future of Israel's enemies nearby, Hezbollah, Hamas, and I'm sure he'll elaborate further. Deputy Minister Ben Dahan, and we're going to have him to speak Ivrit and then translated by Uri Kaufman into Anglit.
ערב טוב לכולם. כפי שאמר ג'ו, אחר הצהריים נפגשתי עם המושל הקבי, ומבחינתי זו הייתה הפגישה הראשונה שלי איתו. ההתרשמות הראשונה שאמרתי לעצמי, וואי, הלוואי ויהיו לנו עוד כמה חברי כנסת או שרים שמדברים כמוהו על מדינת ישראל.
This afternoon I had the privilege of meeting with Governor Huckabee. Actually, I did too. And it was my first meeting with Governor Huckabee, and it made a great impression on me. And I said, wow, if only we had more members of Knesset like Governor Huckabee.
אולי מעבר לכל התמיכה שהוא הביע במעמדנו פה במדינת ישראל, ביהודה ושומרון, בכלל ביחס של ארצות הברית למדינת ישראל, המשפט החשוב ביותר ששמעתי ממנו היה, אני מבטיח לכם, מה שאתם תחליטו לעשות ביהודה ושומרון, אנחנו נתמוך בעמדתכם.
Beyond all the support that he's given us in Judea and Samaria and in Israel, the one thing that he said that was just the best thing of all was, I want you to know that no matter what you do, whatever steps you take, we will support you.
זה אומר שעכשיו המשימה היא שלנו, של חברי הכנסת, של השרים, בעיקר של הממשלה הזאת, המשימה מוטלת עלינו. ואני אומר לכם בעזרת השם, אנחנו נעשה הכל כדי להחיל את החוק הישראלי על יהודה ושומרון, כי זה המסר לעולם כולו.
I want you all to know that what we see today is our main mission, and what we will do is to apply civilian Israeli law to Judea and Samaria.
ואני בטוח שהממשל החדש, כפי שגם מושל הקבי אמר, יתמוך בצעדים הללו, ובעזרת השם, ככל שאנחנו נעשה את זה מהר יותר ובצורה הברורה והאמיתית, כי אכן חזרנו לארצנו כדי להיות כאן לעולם, והארץ הזאת לא תהיה שייכת לשום עם אחר. שנהיה בטוחים בעמדתנו זאת, העולם כולו יסכים איתנו. תודה רבה לכם.
And I am certain that when we take this measure, the new government in America is going to support us, because this land does belong to us. We have come back to this land. We're not going to give it up. And once we get the support from America, we are certain that the rest of the world will accept the fact that this land belongs to the Jewish nation. Thank you.
Vicky, לגוף, לעמוד, Vicky. Sorry. Vicky.
Don't talk.
All right. This microphone does not work too well. Hello? Okay. Couple things. First of all, I want to thank Henry Schwartz's family. I see Aaron Schwartz here, who's in the IDF, and helped sponsor this whole trip and sponsored many of our trips. Henry is a very close friend of the governor's, and his grandson is here and lives in Israel, of course. And I would say Henry is one of the closest friends the governor has among the Jewish community, if I'm not mistaken, right? I'm right about that. So you should know that, Aaron. Henry's very close to the governor. And I just want to also thank Marty Oliner, who's not here tonight, but helped sponsor this evening from the Religious Zionists of America. Unfortunately, couldn't be here. Pipes burst on the way out the door to Kennedy Airport, and could not make it. I'm going to introduce a member of Knesset, Chaver Knesset, Oren Chazan, who joined us yesterday in the Knesset, and has been extremely helpful, extremely influential. And as I said, if you're here at this dinner tonight, I guarantee you God will watch over you, protect you, and make you very successful, more successful than you presently are. So I wish you the best. I really believe that you're going to be more than just a Chaver Knesset in the next, and hopefully that won't be for a little while, but you know, it will happen, God willing. Im Yirtzeh Hashem. Be'ito. Thank you, Paul. Oren Chazan.
Thank you very much. Governor Huckabee, my friend, honorable guest. I'm not used to mics. Today was a very hard day, not just for me. It was a very hard day to all Israel, for all Jewish people. This morning started with very sad news. We lost one of our heroes, Major Huckabee Ben-Ari, that got injured in Tzuk Eitan, and today died. First of all, I want to send my regrets to the family and to tell them that we love them, we hug them, and we will always remember. This day continued to another thing that escort Israel for the last period, very hard period. The story with they call him the soldier from Hebron. I call them first of all the soldier from Hebron. Our kid, our brother. Today in some, I don't know how to even explain this. Today court decided that our soldier killed, can you believe it, a terrorist. Today, something amazing happened. In 1 minute, a state that tried to survive managed to make a terrorist a shaheed, a holy man, and managed to take a soldier and make him enemy of the state. I respect the decision of court. They decide what they decide. We will not interfere with this. But in the same time, I will say, court said what he said, but us, as member of Knesset, as member of parliament, as the people that speak, the voice of the people, we will do what we need to do, and we will make sure that Elor Azaria will be free and go back to his family. We need to understand, Israel is in a very hard period. We're dealing with crazy enemies. Actually, we are in war. And in war, sometimes mistakes happen. One of our mistakes was to trust the ex-president of the United States, Hussein Obama, that promised us that if we will wait just a little bit and we will not build even one more break, the future will look better. I didn't believe him. But you know what, guys? Yesterday I said to my new friend, I'm hoping you don't mad at me that I say friend. You know, sometimes you don't need more than a minute to understand if you want to be a friend of a guy. Actually, you're all my friends. That when I hear you, and I agree, usually I don't repeat my things, but with this I want to say it again because it's very important to people to understand. When I hear you, when I see the road that you walk, when I see where you're leading us, you're more Jewish than a Jewish, believe me. I'm not joking. Yeah, he deserved, believe me. And I hope that, yes, usually they say 7 bad years. We had 8 bad years. I hope now things are going to get changed and we're going to get our luck back because we have new friends in America that will help us to build and rebuild, to build Jerusalem, to build in Shomeria and Benjamin, to build Israel, because this is what we need. Not because we say story about safety and security, not because somebody do us a favor, because this is our right. God sent us here, God give us this land. He give us to keep it, not to give it, and we will never give it. I would like to ask you to send a small message to the next President of the United States that I trust and believe him. And with this I will finish. When he started his way, the media started to laugh on him. Some part of the media say he's a clown. They say a lot of jokes. But he said that he will walk with his truth. And I listened carefully about what he promised to us. I think since the backdance of Reagan up to today, almost every candidate that ran to presidency said and promised that he will move the embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem because the Jerusalem is the eternal capital city of Israel. And when Trump said it, I believed him. A few days ago, he tweeted, Israel, just a little bit more patient. 20th of January is coming. I would like to ask you to tell him by my name and the name I believe, all our friends in Israel. Tell him, we, the Jewish people, was waiting for 2,000 years to go back to our country, to go back to our land. For the last almost 69 years, we fight to survive here and to be free people in our nation. We have the patience to wait a few more days until he will lead America, until you will make America great again, and until you will help us to build Israel more stronger, more safety, and just build. I want to tell you, from my bottom of my heart, I'm your messenger here. I'm your man here. Everything that you need, people, I will help you. I came here to work, not to just give speech. You see, yesterday and even today, I didn't write nothing. I wasn't even sure that I'm going to speak. You know, I just came to respect. And the last hours, I don't know if you heard, I'm in the hospital. And I say to myself, it was a long day, but I want to use this moment to tell you that like we know that we have you above sea in the state, I want you to know that you have us here, and together we're going to walk to a new future. I want to thank you all for the job, for the uniting of community, for the uniting of the Jewish people. I want to thank you for the honor that you give us, and I want to thank God bless America, God bless Israel, and enjoy dinner, people. Thank you very much.
It was excellent.
Nothing stopped.
Here we go.
Get the logo, get the logo. The logo's good.
Okay, 1, 2 here, please. Mr. Governor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is this working? Is it working? What? What?
המיקרופון not working.
What do I do?
לא שומעים. לא שומעים.
לא שומעים. Working? Hi, my name is Odelia Jacobs. I'm one of the vice presidents of the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce, vice president of Public Policy Division. I hope, first of all, you're having a good time and that you're enjoying yourselves. More importantly, I have to say the reason that we're here today is because we are reaching an era that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given to us to have a way of a breather for what we went through for the past 8 years. I have to say Mark Zell has represented and did a phenomenal job for Trump, And I have to say, for the people that were able to vote over here in Eretz Israel, the Americans, really helped. And I have to say, Governor Huckabee has been a tremendous tool to help Trump to really reach the votes, because Governor Huckabee has such a following that people trust him because of the person that he is, a man of faith, and a man that understands that there is no power, no one, no country, and especially not the UN, that has a right to go against the will of God. We, the Jewish people, are indigenous to the land of Israel, and we have a history over 3,200 years. This is the land for the Jewish people. It is a Jewish country based on the values of Torah, and everything that we're here today is because of the values that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. I would like to say that we're here today also to strengthen the Israel-American alliance politically, but more importantly in the business world. Because when you have a strong economy, when you put people to work, when you understand that you have to teach people to fish, not just to give them the fish. And I know that, I don't know, the rabbis can tell me where exactly, but I know it says it is more of a mitzvah to help put a person to work and give him strength than just to go give tzedakah. And that is what we are all here today to understand, that Israel and America together must work in a way to increase businesses, increase investments in Israel, bring more people to work in strength. And with healthy economies, there's a lot of blessings, people are happy, and it leads to shalom bayit, it leads to so many good things, and Bezrat Hashem, we will see that in the coming years. I had the zchut of working with a very special Knesset member, Miki Zohar, that has helped me in the past 2 months arrange a Knesset conference that brought spiritual strength, positive energy to the room, to the Knesset, a lot of spirituality, and a lot of chizuk. I would like to introduce Miki Zohar to say the words that I know we have talked about, a lot of the values that all of us share in this room. So I want to say, I have the zchut to introduce Miki Zohar. Miki, Chaber Knesset Miki. Miki Zohar.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much being with us tonight. Second. Okay. Okay. And of course also yesterday's event on the Knesset that now it's okay? Okay. I really believe that yesterday's event was very important for Israel on our fight against terror and against the BDS, of course. And I wish to thank the Orthodox Jewish Chamber of Commerce that organized this very important event with me, and of course, especially Odelia Jacobs. Yes, where is Odelia? She needs to get her close. Yes, Odelia is great. לא שומעים. Odelia, I wish to thank you for yesterday's event. It was great, and thank you for all your effort. You deserve it. And of course, Dr. Joseph Frager, you're a great man. You are a great man. He's supposed to get a big applause. Yes, bigger. And of course, Mr. Brody and Mr. Duvi Hunig. And I really, really appreciate your efforts, and I was very, very impressed of your, strong belief that this is the right way. I'm very happy to be here tonight with Governor Mike Huckabee, that he is a true friend of Israel, and I'm happy to say that I can call you also my friend today after we met. And it's a pleasure to have you as a guest yesterday. You're a great friend of Israel, and I'm sure that if we had few more Republicans and congressmen like you back in the US, Israel would be in a perfect shape. So I wish you to stay our friend till the end of days, and we will be together all the way. thank you very much for your friendship. I will try because the mic. So, when I got elected to the Knesset, I was pretty sure that it's going to be an easy job. But eventually I discovered that this is a very hard work. And the things that I think that we're supposed to work on the Knesset and work on the Knesset and keep in the Knesset is very simple things. First, to keep the Jewish idea strong in Israel. Because Israel is a Jewish and democratic country, but first of all, this is a Jewish country. And then it's a democratic country. And we should keep the Jewish idea very strong. And I work on this idea in the Knesset in two ways. One way is Shabbat. Shabbat is the day that every Jew should rest. We shouldn't go to work. We should rest. I think this is what God gave us as a present, because nobody else got this present from God, to rest on Shabbat. And this is one thing that I work very hard on the Knesset, and hopefully I will succeed to do that. And second thing is to keep Israel complete with only one state. No two-state solution. No two-state solution. This is a wrong idea that will damage us, that will hurt our children. And I work in the Knesset, keep that this country will stay one country only, as a Jewish and democratic country. So, doing this thing, like I told you before, it's not so easy, but I believe in this. I believe in this, and I will keep working hard, making it happen. So I congratulate you all coming here today, and wish you a pleasant evening. And thank you for all my friends, my new friends, and my great friends. And I'm sure that we will cooperate together in the future. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Edelstein is coming. Huh? Edelstein is coming. Edelstein is a minister. He speaks English very well. I just want to say something short. Yeah, you'll say it right now.
ever go there? Amy for Clinton, you ever go? Nothing there? Did you ever go to the, what is it, the Vegan Heritage, Vegan Museum? It's not called that. It's in there. It's very good.
Joe.
Nice to see you. Yes.
Thank you very much for your support of Israel.
Let's see.
Thank you very much again. Okay, please take your seats for a minute. I think we have more members of Knesset tonight than we had yesterday. Amazing. I see Sharon Heskel. Sharon Heskel has just arrived. We have Sal Smotrich. Is here, spoke beautifully in Knesset yesterday. Passionate speech yesterday. Sal Smotrich. He's going to speak now. Three that he already copied again. Three, right here. And we need Salel Smotrich, Uri, Salel.
טוב, ערב טוב. לא עובד? עכשיו עובד. ערב טוב לכולם. יש משהו... אורן, תקשיב רגע. יש משהו לא כיף בלדבר ולהפריע לאנשים לאכול, אז אל תפריעו לעצמכם.
No fun to ruin people's dinner and speak in the middle, however.
אני באמת קודם כל רוצה להודות פעם נוספת, כמו שהודנו בכינוס החשוב אתמול בכנסת, לכל האנשים העיקריים שמארגנים את כל המפגש הזה, מהקונגרס המיוחד, לדיוויד ולג'ו ולאודליה ולפול, וכמובן כמובן למיסטר הקאבי. אתה רוצה לתת על זה?
First of all, thank you so much to this wonderful group of people for putting together this beautiful event. I want to thank Paul Brody. I want to thank Duli Honig. I want to thank, of course, Joe Frager, and especially Governor Huckabee. And Odelia Jacobs, I'm sorry.
Governor Huckabee דיבר אתמול בכנסת על הנס הגדול של תקומת ארץ ישראל. We spoke yesterday about the miracle of Israel. איך יכול להיות שמדינה צעירה כל כך מצליחה ב-68 שנה להגיע לתוצאות גדולות ומפוארות כאלה? והוא כמובן הביא את זה כהוכחה לכך שיש כאן משהו אלוקי. יש כאן משהו לא טבעי, ומי שנלחם בו, נלחם למעשה בריבונו של עולם.
How can it be that such a young country has managed to accomplish so much in just 68 years? It must be through the help of God. This is what Governor Huckabee said yesterday in the Knesset. I apologize. What Governor Huckabee said yesterday in the Knesset. It must be that this is because of the help of God. And whoever fights against Israel must know that they are fighting against the will of God.
שנייה מחיאות כפיים, וזה government, not for me. מה שאני רוצה להוסיף, מיסטר הקאבי, זה שזה כתוב בתורה. בתוך פרשת בחוקותיי, בתוך פרשת הברית, הכללה, כאשר התורה מתארת לנו חלילה מה עתיד לקרות, מה קרה בהיסטוריה של העם היהודי, כאשר העם היהודי עוזב את דרך השם וגולה מארץ ישראל, הוא יורד אל הגלות. בתוך כל הפסוקים הקשים הללו של הכללה מסתתרת לה ברכה חבויה. הכתוב אומר, ושממו עליה אויביכם. והרמב"ן במקום עומד על זה, שיש כאן איזו הבטחה אלוקית שמתחבאת בתוך הכללה הנוראה הזאת, שכאשר עם ישראל יגלה מארץ ישראל ויעזוב אותה, אף אחד לא יצליח להיאחז בה. אומר הרמב"ן, מי לא ניסה להיאחז בארץ ישראל כאשר עם ישראל לא היה כאן?
It said, I want to just add one thing, says member of Knesset Smotrich, to what Governor Huckabee said, and it is that what he said is exactly what it says in our Torah, in the Bible. It says it in the parasha of Bechukotai, during what is known to us as the curse. It says in the curse that, of course, if the Jews do not follow the commandments of the Lord, they will be driven out of the land. But it also says that if this happens, the land will be desolate. And what that means is that no one else can ever develop the land of Israel except for the Jewish people. And the commentator Nachmanides, Ramban, says, how many people have tried to develop the land of Israel? How many different nations have come and have tried to develop the land of Israel, and all of them have failed? The only one that has ever succeeded was the Jewish people.
אנחנו עכשיו 150 שנה לסיור הידוע של אותו סופר, מרק טוויין הידוע, שהסתובב כאן בארץ ישראל ומספר איך במשך 3 ימים הוא צועד ולא שומע ציוץ של ציפור. 3 ימים הוא הולך. כמה אדם רגיל עובר ב3 ימים? כמה קילומטרים? הולך והולך והולך, שממה ושממה ושממה.
It was 150 years ago that the great American author Mark Twain, we are now marking 150 years since he was here. And in that period, he walked for 3 whole days. And he walked, and he walked, and he walked. And he wrote that he didn't even hear so much as the tweet of a single bird because the land was completely desolate.
ולכן כידוע, אחד מן הסימנים של הגאולה, כפי שהנביא אומר, ואתם הרי ישראל, ענפיכם, כן, תישאו ופריכם תיתנו לעמי ישראל כי קרבו לבוא, אמר רבי אבא בסוף הגמרא במסכת כתובות, אין לך קץ מגולה מזה. כאשר השממה הזאת מתלבשת בצמחייה שלמה וארץ ישראל חוזרת לתת פירותיה בעין יפה, אין לך סימן יותר מובהק מזה לתהליך הגאולה. אז 2000 שנה הארץ הזו חיכתה לנו בשיממונה כמו אלמנה שצרורה ומחכה לבעלה, וברוך השם אנחנו זוכים לחזור, והארץ הזו נותנת פירותיה בעין יפה. והפירות הללו הם גם פירות פיזיים, במובן של פרוט. תכף אתה תתרגם אותי. עוד פעם, תרגום.
And it is written that the surest sign of the end of the exile will be when the land itself comes back, when suddenly the earth sprouts once again. That is when we will know that in point of fact we have in fact returned. When it yields fruit.
אבל הפירות האלה הם גם באמת כל אותם פירות פיתוח נפלאים שאנחנו זוכים בחסדי שמיים אדירים לפתח כאן במדינת ישראל ב-68 שנות קיומה, והם פירות כלכליים נפלאים. אומת ההייטק. מי לא יודע היום איזה שם דבר יש למדינת ישראל בכל מקום בעולם? מובילים בסייבר ומובילים איפה אנחנו לא מובילים? עוד פעם. אתה תעשה לי סימן עם היד עוד פעם.
The fruits that we see today are the economic fruits of all that has been accomplished in the last 68 years. Who has not heard of the miracle of Israeli high-tech? Who has not heard that Israel is one of the leaders in cyber, in software, in so many areas?
ולכן
כמו שגוברמן האקבי אמר אתמול, מי שנלחם בכלכלה הישראלית, מי שמקדם את החרמות, את ה-BDS, הוא נלחם בסימן הכי מובהק של הגאולה. מי שחושב שהוא יצליח להילחם, יש ביטוי נפלא של חז"ל. אתם ראיתם מי מעיז להיכנס בין הארי ללוויה בשעה שנזקקים זו לזה. אשר אריה רוצה להתאחד עם הלוויה, מי מעיז להיכנס אל התווך הזה? כאשר הקדוש ברוך הוא בכנסת ישראל, הקדוש ברוך הוא ועם ישראל חוזרים חזרה להתאחד, מי מעיז לצאת נגד הדבר הזה? מי חושב שהוא יכול להילחם בסימנים הכי מובהקים של תהליך הגאולה שאנחנו זוכים להיות חלק ממנו?
So when we see this economic miracle, which is the greatest symbol of the return of the Jewish people at the will of God, as the hand of God, who would be crazy enough to try to fight this Israeli economy, which is itself the ultimate symbol of the return of the Jewish people and the hand of God bringing the Jewish people back to their own land? Oh, it's the equivalent of someone who would dare to get in between a lion and a lioness and his lioness. Who would dare to be crazy enough to try to get in between the lion and the lioness? It is the same. It's the same as someone trying to get between God and the people of Israel.
אני חושב שזה מסר שאנחנו צריכים להעביר לעולם. אנחנו לא מפחדים מה-BDS. מי שחושב שכאשר הוא מקדם את ה-BDS הוא פוגע בנו, הוא לא מבין שום דבר. הוא פוגע בעצמו. מי שחושב שהוא נלחם בקדוש ברוך הוא, לא נלחם בקדוש ברוך הוא. אין דבר כזה. אף אחד לא יכול להזיז מילימטר לקדוש ברוך הוא. סופו של דבר, מי שנלחם בקדוש ברוך הוא המפסיד הגדול מכל הסיפור הזה. וזה בעיניי המסר העיקרי שאנחנו צריכים לומר לכל אותם חושבי רעתנו שחושבים שהם יוכלו להילחם ולעכב את התהליך הגדול הזה.
Those who believe in BDS and those who believe that they can fight Israel with BDS have to know that they are not hurting Israel. The only ones that they are hurting are themselves, because those who are fighting with the economy of Israel, it is as if they are fighting with God himself. And when you fight God himself, you're not hurting God. The only one that you are hurting is yourself. And so this is the message that we must send to the world today.
אני מסיים רק באמת ולהודות שוב לגוברמן האקבי, שאומר בדיוק את הדברים האלה. אתמול מיקי זוהר, שיצא מכאן, נאם במליאה, ממש קצת אחרי המפגש שהיה לנו עם מיסטר האקבי. אז הוא שאל למה אין מספיק יהודים בישראל שאומרים את האמת כמו שגוברמן האקבי אומר אותה בעולם. אז אנחנו מודים, ממש רוצים להודות באמת לגוברמן האקבי ולחזק אותו להמשיך. הנה, אני בקושי יודע לומר את זה בעברית, אז הוא יודע לומר את זה באנגלית ולשדר את זה למיליארדי אנשים בעולם, ובסופו של דבר אנחנו מאמינים שסוף האמת לבוא. ניכרים דברי אמת והאמת הזאת תצא אל הפועל, ומי שהיה חלק מהתהליך הגדול האלוקי הזה יבוא על שכרו, ומי שחלילה מרשה לעצמו לצאת נגדו ישלם את המחיר. תודה.
Yesterday at the Knesset, after I left, I was told that Miki Zohar said, why is it that Governor Huckabee can say so many things that Jews do not say? Why is it so many Jews are not saying the things that Governor Huckabee is saying? So I just want to say that we want to thank you, Governor Huckabee, and we want to encourage you to continue. And what I say in Hebrew, says MK Smotrich, Governor Huckabee will continue to say in English, and the message will be spread all across the world. Thank you all for coming.
Once again, I would like to thank you all for coming. I did the intro. I have a little to say. I know these mics, some people are shorter, some are taller, and we have to keep on moving them. Okay. I would like to thank Aryeh King. Aryeh, Shomea? Aryeh Shomea. He's a doer. I met him a few weeks ago, but the amount, what was accomplished through meeting him, as with some other people, I have years of relationships, but I haven't developed with what Aryeh accomplished over the past 2-3 weeks since we met by the UN when we hosted together with our public policy committee, John Bolton, prior to Obama, not vetoing the resolution, and we had a hunch, and Joe Fraga had the biggest hunch and organized it together with our public policy and Mrs. Delia Jacobs and always Paul Brody, and that's when I met Aryeh, and since then, boom, boom, bang, bang. And I would like to thank Rami Levy for coming and joining us, as well as Erez Wiener, Amir Biram, Shlomo Kalish, Itzik Ozer from Jerusalem Development Authority, who I look forward to work with to be able to build and help our economic development and work together with the states and with Israel and Jerusalem and strengthen our economy. I'm going to start with something that it's not my saying, it's something I'm doing. David HaMelech said, every morning used to come to him and say, Klai Amchi Yisrael tzrichem parnasa. The nation, the Jewish nation, needs parnasa. So David HaMelech's answer was, L'chu v'esparnasu zu mizeh. Go do business with each other and network, and you'll have parnasa. It's a very hard concept to understand. Like, we don't know that, and every day to say go network and find parnasa. Baruch Hashem, today, the world is so big but so small. We're standing here today. People all over the world are watching this now. Networking, the amount of time that you need to physically sit with someone is very limited, or occasionally not even needed. I've met someone who does business, manufactures things for 20 years from China, and he's never been to China once, and he's very successful. But I'm not here to promote China. I want to promote Eretz Yisrael. I want to promote our bond for the Jewish businesses in Eretz Yisrael, in America, and all over the world, to be able to unite and work together as one body to strengthen our businesses, our community, our body. There is nothing like having the power of unity and economic strength. Economy, money talks. And that I mentioned yesterday, we're going to fight BDS and eye for an eye. They want to hurt our businesses. We're going to fight back with our businesses, and as united, and use our strength to influence politicians, with our public policy committee, and we're very successful, Baruch Hashem. We happened to host the first meeting with Jason Greenblatt in the Trump Towers after there was a terrorist attack with Joe and myself and Adelia and other members of our we brought to be able to help form a reaction and a response, and had it for Donald Trump's first response to support Israel and condemn the attack. We have the strength. It's not me, it's not Dr. Joe Fraga, it's not Mrs. Delia Jacobs, it's not Dr. Paul Brody. It's us, all of us together. When we get together and we bring our businesses, our body together as one, we are very influential. This creates jobs. This creates businesses. This helps people strengthen businesses they have that are hurting. This helps people develop all different types of relations and connections that even if someone has education or if someone has business, doesn't mean he's successful or he found placement. But when we have one global network, I can't tell you how many times my office in Lakewood is networking with places all over the world in one day and helping them, because everything's networking. And that's what David HaMelech said, L'chu v'sparnasu zeh mizeh. And we're here today to strengthen it and to say we have business leaders in the room, we have politicians in the room, we have community activists in the room, we have many different groups who came in from the States, and I'm sorry if I don't know everyone's names, who are here today to be able to say we are in this room together. And I want to tell you, tonight is the most powerful room I was ever in my life. We have politicians, we have business leaders, we have community activists. Rabbis? We have some rabbis. We're waiting for the chief rabbi. and we're here on one mission, on one goal, to strengthen our businesses. And I'm going to finish with this, because today in the morning, always bothered me. And today in the morning, I said that this must be the solution I want to share with you. It says, when they came to David HaMelech and they said, Amchi Yisrael tzrichem parnasa, your nation needs parnasa, he said, go do business with each other. And when they said, that it's not enough, we can't cover our bills still by doing networking ourselves, he said, L'chul milchama, go to war. Why would you go to war with nations? Because you don't have food. Why would you attack them? Why is that righteous? What's the connection of l'chu v'sparnasu zumizu? Help yourselves, if not go to war and go kill other nations and steal their food and money. But now with the BDS movement, we know exactly what it is. That meant that if we couldn't be mefarnes, we couldn't provide for our families, for our businesses. It was because of the boycotts in the times of David HaMelech. And he said, if they want to boycott us, fight. And that's what we're here tonight for. We're using our strength of businesses, and we're going to fight every single nation who wants to hurt our businesses and our strength. And we're united together with huge business leaders and politicians and Chavei Knesset and community activists from all over the world to say and make this statement. And thank you all for coming, and thank you for being part of this. And all of us together, united, we're together, we're strong. If we're divided, we're weak. And I'm going to finish with the thought of this week's parsha. In this week's parsha, we see in Vayigash that Yosef's brothers were the strongest. They fought wars, they killed nations, they killed out nations. But when they found out that Yosef, Ani Yosef, Ha'id Avichai, and they found out that Joseph was the king, they were so embarrassed that it says that they died. The souls went out of them from being embarrassed. These strong people. And God put the souls back in them to revive them. That's how powerful embarrassment is. But think on the opposite end. Think how powerful pride is. If we're here together tonight with pride, there's no level that we can't reach with our pride of being united, bringing our businesses together, saying tonight a statement, we want to do something. We're going to fight this together, and at the same time we're going to strengthen our businesses, our communities, and we're going to make the whole big world one big Jewish network. And thank you all for coming. Good night.
Guvi Honig. Now, because the hour is somewhat late, and we're going live, this whole evening has been broadcast live. We're going to have the governor speak now, and we have other members, very prominent members of the Israeli government. Chagi Ben Artzi is here, the brother-in-law of the Prime Minister, and I see Gershom Masika is here. He helped tremendously. I think Yuli Edelstein is on his way. Aryeh King, I didn't mention Gershom Masika yet. I did mention Yoni Shetbun. Shachar Mekel, who helped sponsor, and his fiancee, Karina. We wish you the best of success in life and in all endeavors. They came special thanks to Ken Abramowitz. And we are now going to hear from the man who made this all happen tonight and this whole week, who truly is the best friend, I would say, in America today. He was offered a position in the cabinet of the Trump administration. He's been one of the staunchest defenders of Donald J. Trump from the get-go, as early as anyone, and to his credit, because you know, when you have to defend Mr. Trump to the masses and to the media especially, no one did it better than, of course, Governor Huckabee. And he was always calm, always to the point. He wasn't no hyperbole. He was right on message, right on target, right on focus. He's been that way ever since I've known him. He's the most, I would say, sincere political figure in America. He really is as sincere as anyone that I've ever met, and that's why our relationship, I know, has lasted this long. Hopefully it'll last a lot longer. But it's because of that sincerity, the integrity, the real deep down tremendous feelings for our people. He knows Israel better than any American, having been here probably over 100 times. I hope I'm accurate. It's 44 years times at least 2, so it's close to 100, maybe more. He really loves this country, and that's rare. We have to develop more Mike Huckabees in the world. I mean, it's really our job, if that's possible. I don't mean to in any which way detract from Governor Huckabee. I know he knows what I'm saying. He knows it's accurate. The Jewish people have a PR problem. They've always had a PR problem. That's how Odelia Jacobs and I got hooked up. We realized that there was a tremendous PR problem. Millions of dollars were being spent by the Israeli government on PR, and it was doing zero. Matter of fact, it was probably harmful. It's another problem other than BDS, but it's a serious problem. And in this day and age, and Donald J. Trump made it very clear that if you don't know how to work the media, you are not going to win the war of the media. And as much as Israel can fight wars on the ground and defeat our enemies, they have to begin to learn how to defeat our enemies in the diplomatic war. Ken Abramowitz speaks about this, and he's going to speak in a minute too after the governor. They have to learn how to defeat our enemies in this diplomatic war. Mike Huckabee has taught us the way, and it is up to us, Jewish people, to develop many Mike Huckabees as ambassadors to America from Israel that can send the right messages to millions of people every day, because if you don't do it every day, we lose. It's something that has to be a constant refrain. We must win the war of diplomacy, and that's what Donald J. Trump taught us. It's that he was able to defeat the media, which has clearly made Israel a pariah state, God forbid, but the media, which has demonized and delegitimized and in every which way tried to hurt the state of Israel, can be defeated just as Donald J. Trump defeated them. And that's one of the major lessons of this election period, is that you can win the media battle, that diplomatic war. And the governor will teach you how and show you how, and already has. And it is such an honor, pleasure, privilege, thank God, for the great zchut that we all have in having Governor Mike Huckabee tonight speak to you and tell you like it is how we can build our Jewish people to be a greater people, how we can build Israel to be a greater Israel, how we can build Judea and Samaria to be a greater Judea and Samaria, and how we can build Yerushalayim to be the greatest city on earth, unparalleled, unsurpassed, the greatest, and he can show us the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Joe, and thank all of you. Let me begin by expressing that After that introduction, I was really looking forward to hearing myself. I'm afraid sometimes the introduction is a little bit more substantial than the speech, and perhaps that could be the case tonight. My heartfelt thanks to all of you for coming and being a part of what has been a wonderful experience. And I thank all of you who have come to the podium and said nice things about me. I enjoyed them. I wish my wife would have been here. She needed to hear those things. Hopefully I will be able to go back and remember enough of them to tell her, you'll have no idea how they loved me over there. She'll say, then go back and get some more of it. I do appreciate the members of the Knesset and other officials who are here, because one of the things that I learned as a governor is that you're never looking for a place to go or something to do, ever. Every evening there are dozens of places that you could attend, and you have to make choices. Every day there are dozens of people pulling upon you to be at a meeting, do something, and you have to make choices. I'm very respectful of the fact that tonight every one of you have made a choice to be here. Perhaps you were coerced by a friend. Perhaps it was the fact that the King David was going to put on a wonderful dinner. But I want to say thanks for your indulgence in being here. It means a lot to me personally, and I hope it means a lot for the long-time friendship that we will share to continue to get the message across to the world that Israel is a very special place. God's hand is upon it, and we must be mindful, respectful, and never be bashful about saying to the world that God's hand is upon Israel. No one in Israel should ever be afraid to boldly proclaim that the foundation of this country is not its politics, but it's his faith. Without its faith, it would not stand. With its faith, no one can ever stand against her. I want to say a special word of thanks to all of the people of the hotel staff. You know, these are the folks who work incredibly hard. They're on their feet for hours. They work their way among the tables to deliver food to us. They provided a wonderful meal. And I just think it's sometimes important that we stop and say thank you to those who have served us tonight. So join me in saying a word of thanks to this wonderful staff at the King David. I don't think there's anything that I could add to all of the talk that we've had tonight. Talk I agree with, that Jerusalem is the undivided capital of Israel, that it should ever remain, that the idea of a two-state solution is a diplomatic fantasy. It is never going to happen, and we need to stop talking about it, because all it's done is waste time and money of diplomats who have traveled all over the Middle East and beyond, trying to pretend that they were doing something that they're not doing. And so once and for all, maybe we can put that aside. And one of the things I'm looking very much forward to in really just about 2 weeks and a day is to be able to say former President Obama and former Secretary of State John Kerry. People have asked me, do you think that Donald Trump will be more cordial, more helpful to Israel? I said, if Donald Trump was simply neutral and indifferent, you would be better off. But I think I can speak with some level of confidence and assurance that the incoming administration will prove to you very quickly that it takes its promises seriously. The promise to move the embassy, the promise to fight the very destructive BDS movement, which does as much harm to Arabs and Palestinians than it does to Jews, and that it will, in fact, create a totally different and new policy that recognizes the indigenous right of Israel to occupy, to own, to live in, to possess. They don't occupy because they've owned it. The only occupations have been by the Babylonians, the Assyrians, the Turks, the Brits, but the owners of the land, Judea, Samaria, are the Israelis. And so I believe you're going to see a very fresh and exciting approach that the incoming American administration will take. And I'm looking forward to that. I want to tell you a simple story tonight, one that I hope will maybe explain why I, as an American, find it so important to stand with Israel. And I could perhaps share many different personal experiences, but I hope this speaks not to your head but to your heart. A number of years ago, a young father brought his children to Israel for the first time. He wanted them to see this country. He wanted them to understand something of what it was about and what made it unique. And of his 3 children, he had 2 teenage sons and an 11-year-old daughter. He took his children to Yad Vashem, because what better way is there to understand the importance of modern-day Israel and the commitment of Israel to never, ever let something like the Holocaust happen again. This young father discussed with his wife whether or not the 11-year-old would be mature enough to understand and to absorb the extraordinary and sometimes very emotional experience of Yad Vashem. And many of you may remember that a number of years ago, Yad Vashem was even more intense than it is now. It was arranged very much in a chronological order, and the pictures and the artifacts were far more intense than they are now. And I know that many people said it's just too much. But in those days, it was strong. Personally, I think it needed to be strong. It needed to be intense. It needed to evoke an extraordinarily personal, deep, emotional reaction from everyone who went through it. But this young father, concerned that maybe the girl was too young to experience it, to process it, decided he would start the process of taking her through Yad Vashem. But if things became too emotional for her, then he would simply escort her out. So he took her through Yad Vashem, and as you remember in those days, it started out with the depiction of what happened as the Nazis came to power and how they first began to isolate, identify, and then truly harass Jewish people at every level, including making the children at a school wear a Star of David on their clothing, not as a point to identify them for honor, but to identify them at a point of derision and ridicule and hostility and bullying. And when the little girl saw what was happening to these children, it was hard for her to comprehend and understand how anybody could be so cruel to a child. As the father took his daughter to the next part of Yad Vashem, it depicted what happened in the Warsaw Ghetto. As many Jewish families were taken from their homes, from their shops, they were herded together to live in small spaces. All of their valuables robbed from them, and then put in anything less than acceptable housing. And then the trains began to come to take them to the death camps that were operated by the Nazis. And oftentimes the parents would be taken away, but the children would be left behind. And in the cold of Warsaw in the winter, some of those children, many of them, died of exposure from the elements because they had no place to be. The Nazis were so proud of their horrors inflicted upon the Jewish people that we know some of the things that happened to those children, not because somebody told us, not because it was a legend, but because they actually photographed the most horrific things they did to kids, such as shooting them for sport in the streets. It's bad enough to do something that is that evil, but worse is to be so proud of it that you would actually photograph it because you somehow wanted people to know what you had done. Many children died in the streets, hunger, deprivation, The little girl saw these pictures. She didn't say anything, just stared at them. The next part of Yad Vashem depicted the death camps. Dachau, Auschwitz-Birkenau, Belsenbergen, and the other places that were created for the sole purpose of an industrialized, systematic murder of human beings. Imagine an industry with no purpose other than to murder people. It's hard to even conceive that somebody could come up with a plan. It's even harder to conceive that people would follow it and would every day go to work and kill 10,000 people, go home, read stories to their family, put their kids to bed and have dinner with them, and then get up the next day and go kill 10,000 more people. That is the whole part of the Holocaust that I find most disturbing. But this father took his daughter through Yad Vashem and that depiction, and as all of you remember, there are photos that are gut-wrenching, deeply embedded into your soul and into mine. Pictures of the thousands and thousands of human bodies stacked so high upon each other they no longer look like even human beings, but sticks of lumber that have been stacked. The horror of it. The father had hoped that his daughter would learn something from the experience of going through Yad Vashem, to understand how this happened, because as it was happening, there were many people who never stood up, who never spoke up, who never stopped it. And once the Nazis realized that they were going to be able to get away with it because there was so little resistance, they continued to carry out their murderous acts until 6 million Jews and over 10 million people had been murdered. The father wondered whether the little girl got that message, whether she understood not only what had happened, but what it meant. Why was it important to speak up in the face of evil? Why is it important to speak up for righteousness? And are you willing to pay a price to do so? As the father took his little girl to the exit of Yad Vashem, you remember there's a guest book. You can sign your name and put your address down and then write comments. The little girl reached up into her father's pocket and she took the pen from his pocket and she began to write in the guest book. The father looked over the little girl's shoulder to see what she would write, and she scrawled her name and address in her 11-year-old script. And she paused, and then she began to write in the space for comments. And the father was particularly interested in what she would write in that space, because what she wrote might indicate whether or not she got it. Whether or not this whole message that the father wanted his daughter to get took hold, sunk in, and made her understand why he had brought her to this place, and why she should never forget what happened, and why she should give, if necessary, her last ounce of energy to make sure that on God's earth it never, ever, ever happened again. And he stood over his daughter's shoulder and he watched as she wrote these words, words that he will never forget. She was only 11, but with an extraordinary perspective and wisdom, she wrote these simple words in that space. Why didn't somebody do something? Why didn't somebody do something? It was inconceivable to her that such a thing could happen to the silence of so many. And that was what she wrote. That's all she wrote. And with that, she put the pen back in her father's pocket. And for the next several hours, she didn't say a word. But that father never had to wonder whether she got it. And let me just say to you, I was that father. That little girl was my Sarah, who went through Yad Vashem for the first time at age 11. I have brought her back here, and one day I will bring what will soon be all 6 of my grandchildren to Israel and take them through Yad Vashem as a reminder that somebody always has to do something. I say to you tonight, my daughter is getting ready to take a job in the White House under Donald Trump and will be working in his administration as they take office. You may have seen her on television. She was often a spokesperson for the campaign, and Trump loves her. He likes me, but he loves my daughter. And she's been an amazing political operative, an incredible person of deep conviction. And you know what? Since that day, I've never had to wonder whether my daughter not only would have deep convictions, but would stand for them and with them unflinchingly. And I want every person to understand that the partnership that America and Israel has is deeper than political. It is deeper than financial. It comes to the very heart and soul, what it means to be a human being. And to understand that whether a person is a Jew or a Muslim or a Christian or a Hindu, that there must be a respect and an understanding that there is no such thing as a life without value. There is no such thing as a life that does not deserve the respect to be treated as a human being. And it's why that the value system that we hold, your country and mine, that values law and justice, and that elevates and holds accountable all of us equally under the law, and that believes that even when we are at war, we must do so in a way that is honorable and defensible. It's what separates us from savagery. And it's also what brings us together in a partnership that we need to preserve, protect, and pass on to our kids and to our grandkids. And I pledge to you that my commitment to you in Israel is one that is born from a deep sense of understanding that mutual bond of friendship and values. And I will continue to fight for that. Thank you and God bless.
You brought tears in my eyes. And they're still there.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
You know, I've heard that story, but not as well as you said it tonight. This was the best you've ever said, that story. Best. It's very moving because Sarah is in the White House, and it means so much.
Oh, that's going to be exciting.
Where's Odelia? Odelia? Wait for Odelia. Don't waste your time.
We've all been in the same picture, haven't we? We've all been in the same picture.
Maybe a different smile and different
position.
We gotta make it.
Hagi Benarti wants to give something to.
I know, but I have to have Ken.
Just wants Hagi Benarti just wants to give something.
Okay, first take a picture of that.
Thank you. We want to give you a we'll give you want to present that? Okay, we'll have to present it. I have to present it. Wait, I want to take a video. Where is he? Take a video? So we'll just give it to him. No, I want to take a video. 1 minute. You have video? Get it.
It's coming. 1 second.
One second. I want it on video. Haki, stop. second. She wants to get Avi Abarov. Avi. Avi, take a video. Nadia. Come here, Avi. Avi. Wait, Nadia. Avi, you want to come here? I want you to take a picture of Nadia. Okay, בסדר.
Unfortunately, I gave them all away. I had cards, but they anonymized. They don't have my email.
Can't.
But it's not great, mate.
What do you want me to do with that?
Everybody comes here. I know what's happening. And actually, I'm talking to Mark, about doing the big
This is in Hebrew. I'm not sure if it's Hebrew.
Yes.
Don't we see it? Yeah, I know. New York. But I do have some Hollywood going on right now. Has a lot to do with PR.
Take us back.
I'm doing it.
Social media.
Yeah.
Okay, can we do it?
I don't know what's going to happen yet, but you know how hard.
The first Jewish inheritance, the first nation so much really inheritance in the land of Israel, which was founded by Abraham, for 3,000
יוני, קדימה, קח את זה, שים את זה עליך. דושי, קח אותו, קח את יוני, קח את יוני, הוא מדבר במצלמה.
יש סאונד?
יש סאונד, יש מיקרופון שלו, הדש. רגע,
זה רץ? Shalom to all our viewers. Thank you for joining our special live broadcast. Let's just say to Governor Huckabee, thank you from Arutz Sheva for this live broadcast. Very inspiring, very important. Thank you for all our viewers for being with us, and thank you to Governor Huckabee.